If you're anything like me, then you've put thousands of hours into the Zelda series, stumbling through ancient dungeons, stuffing rupees into Link's ever-bursting wallet, and slashing through moblins, Stelfos, and the like. And if you are anything like me, then at some point or another, you're going to have to help our solitary hero recover some of his strength and stamina. You press start, move the cursor over to one of our precious bottles we've collected, then boom, Link chugs this syrupy-looking red goo down like I chug a Gatorade whenever my apartment elevator's broken. But what even is this stuff? I mean, sure, it's a potion. It's a fantasy and gaming trope as old as, well, as old as the Zelda series. But what's actually in the potion? What are the base ingredients that make up this stellar concoction? So today, I asked myself the question, what's in a Zelda red potion? Now, fair warning, as far as my digging has taken me, there's no official ingredient list for the red potion. So my intention today isn't to reverse engineer one or create a YouTube cooking short based on the idea. However, I will give it my best at the end of this video if you stick around. The goal today is really just to have a look at what evidence is provided in each Zelda game. It's in-universe detective work to the laziest extent across a few of the games in the series, just to scratch the surface and get an idea of what really goes into these bottles of rejuvenation. And I'll tell you now, potions in Zelda change depending on who's making them and what's available in Hyrule's region at the time. The first game we're going to look at today is Ocarina of Time, where young or adult Link can purchase red potions from all over Hyrule, at the market in Kakariko, in Goron City, and even Zora's Domain. At no time when buying these potions is Link prompted with an ingredients list or anything like that. However, in Ocarina of Time's infamous Big Goron Sword trading quest, Link will stumble across a guy sleeping in the Lost Woods. Not exactly the kind of place I would take a nap. However, when speaking to him, he'll ask you to take something to the old hag in Kakariko, an odd mushroom. The guy begs Link to take it, but he must hurry. A fresh mushroom like this is sure to spoil quickly. If you hurry and get to the hag without the mushroom spoiling, she'll be able to smell it on you. She asks Link to give it to her, which he does. In return, Link obtains an odd potion for the guy in the Lost Woods. The hag explains that it is the strongest medicine that she has ever produced, but she warns there is no medicine that can cure a fool. So in Ocarina, it looks like potions and medicines are made from mushrooms, herbs, and other creations of the forest. Link hurries the potion back to the man, but the hag's warning was right, and Link was too late. If we move on to Ocarina of Time's sequel, Link's second adventure takes place in the land of Termina. We are stuck in a battle of time against the Skull Kid. We find ourselves in the southern swamp, on the trail to the first dungeon of the game. We enter a forest, led by a monkey, behind the Magic Hag's potion shop. Here we find Kuume, injured and sprawled on the ground. She tells us she was minding her own business, picking mushrooms, when the Skull Kid hit her from behind. She asks for Link's help to bring her something that will give her energy. We rush outside and back to the potion shop, where we speak to Kotake. She gives us a potion, which we rush back to Kuume. This time, Link is able to help, and Kuume is back on her broom in no time. However, this isn't the only evidence that Majora's Mask gives us that the primary ingredient in Zelda's potions are Mario steroids. Later in the game, if you have acquired the Mask of Sense, Link can come by clouds of purple spores. When you use a bottle on these spores, you obtain a magic mushroom. Not the type you're thinking about. If Link brings one of these mushrooms back to Kotake, she will brew him a blue potion which restores Link's health and magic meter. Now we set sail for our next game, The Wind Waker. Here, the series takes a hard left turn, and we find that our beloved brewed potions are no longer brewed, just bottled monster goo. Because in The Wind Waker, red potion is directly tied to red choo-choo jelly. On Windfall Island, you will find the Chew Jelly Juice shop, and the owner treats any jelly you bring in as a primary ingredient in his potions. It's essentially a slime smoothie, monster jelly processed, filtered, and refined into a stable, drinkable healing potion. There are 3 different coloured potions in the Wind Waker: red, green, and blue, and all of them come from their associated choo-choo. I think I'd rather drink Grandma's elixir soup. In my favourite Zelda game, Twilight Princess, it's the first time that mushrooms and chew jelly are used at the same time to create the same product. In Farron Woods, Link will come across a small stall hidden in the stump of a tree. The shopkeeper is Trill, a rather animated, violent bird with a blue afro. Trill sells lantern oil and red potion in large vats that Link can refill his empty bottles with. If we approach the cauldron of red potion and examine it, we get the following description. This blend of mushrooms and herbs replenishes life energy. All of Hyrule orders it. Once again, it appears that Hyrule depends on the fruits of its forest to create these blends. But in Twilight Princess, there are also a number of different variety of chews: purple, red, yellow, blue, and golden. Link can bottle red chews to obtain red chew jelly, which has the same effects as a red potion. But if making a potion was as simple as slicing and dicing a wriggling goo monster, why would Trill serve brewed potions of mushrooms and herbs? A speculation with no real evidence is that perhaps red potions are brewed in times where Hyrule does not have easy access to chew jelly, or maybe, like myself, the Hyruleans are just not quite comfortable with the idea of slurping down monster goo. In the final game we're going to talk about today, Skyward Sword gives the classic Zelda series its most legitimate crafting system. In Skyloft's Bazaar, Love and her husband Birdie sell red potion as a standard healing brew, but the real interesting part comes from upgrading them at Birdie's store. Here, Link can infuse the potion using bugs like blessed butterflies, woodland rhino beetles, and volcanic ladybugs to improve the potency and quality of the mixture, changing its effects. It indicates that the base mixture is made from herbs, or, as we've discussed, more likely mushrooms, empowered by insect and plant life of the surface below. In Skyward Sword, choo-choos do exist, however Link does not have the ability to harvest their bodily remains for sustenance, so it's unknown if they provide the same effects as Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. It's worth mentioning that chews provide jelly blobs that can be used as material for equipment upgrades. Alright, let's put the pieces together. Zelda's red potions do not appear to have a universal recipe, but patterns throughout the series indicate that the potions used by our hero come down to two different foundations. Foundation A, a herbal brew made with mushrooms and bugs and other life harvested from the forests of Hyrule. And Foundation B, a monster-derived healing agent obtained from harvesting chews from battle. Now, if I was pushed to it, I'd say a fitting recipe for the classic red potion is as follows. A base of spring water, preferably spiritual in nature, a helpful dose of forest mushrooms, a pinch of heart flower, or other magical herb or insect essence, brewed over time to infuse and create a strengthening and re-energizing concoction. But I want to know, if you lived in Hyrule, which potion would you trust, the herbal brew or the monster jelly? And what other Zelda or gaming items and consumables should we look at next? If you enjoyed, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!